Can you believe it? There's a country not famous for peaches that dominates the entire global canned peach market. How did China, a place not known for peaches, become the leader in this industry, surpassing even the US and Europe? How did China turn agriculture into an export weapon? China didn't invent canned peaches. They don't have a culinary tradition associated with it. And when it comes to flavor, they're not the leader either. But how did they become the world's largest production hub? How could a country not originally prominent in this food item manage to take over the entire global supply chain, from raw materials to the finished can? And is this dominance due to natural advantages, or the result of a cold, precise, and efficient production formula that is almost impossible to catch up with? In this video, we will go inside the world's largest peach processing plants to discover why the whole world is eating a product that almost no one realizes comes from China. To understand why China can dominate the global canned peach industry, we have to start where everything really happens: the fields, not the factories. Because unlike other countries, where peaches are grown to be eaten fresh and then, incidentally, canned, in China, there are regions that specialize in growing peaches solely for export canning. In provinces like Shandong, Hebei, Anhui, and Zhejiang, tens of thousands of hectares are allocated to the yellow cling peach variety, also known as non-melting yellow peach. Not for fresh consumption, not for retail sale, not for raw export. They are bred to have firm, crisp flesh that retains its shape after cooking, without becoming watery or deformed, literally designed for canning. While the US or Greece only grow peaches for canning seasonally, China has turned this into an agricultural chain with a single purpose: serving the industrial line that follows. Have you ever tried any kind of canned peach? Please leave your comments. When the canned peach season begins, usually from mid-June to early September, key raw material regions like Shandong, Anhui, and Hebei enter a peak period much like an agricultural campaign. Can you imagine a field spanning hundreds of hectares, where every single peach harvested serves just one purpose: canning? Tens of thousands of tons of peaches are harvested weekly. But unlike many countries where peaches are only picked when labor is available, or when the peaches start to get too ripe for fresh sale, then in China, there is no concept of flexible harvesting or surplus peaches for processing. Here, each harvest batch is planned in advance, linked to factory input contracts. Each harvest day is specifically designated, from the picking date, time slot, to the transportation route. Peaches are picked at exactly the right ripeness, not exceeding 11 to 13 bricks, just enough to maintain their segment structure during heat processing, but still ensuring natural flavor. So, have you ever wondered, what happens if the technical sweetness level is not met? The peach slices will disintegrate after steaming, lose their shape, and the entire batch will be rejected. Immediately after leaving the tree, peaches are taken directly to satellite pre-processing stations, located near the large growing areas. This isn't just a place to wash off dirt. It's a first technical filtering step, preparing them for the industrial process that follows. Immediately after harvest, peaches are not stored. They are quickly transported to pre-processing stations, where the first technical sorting step takes place, aimed at a single goal: getting them into cans. Here, peaches are initially sorted before entering the factory. Most importantly, peaches are fed directly into the production line a maximum of 6 to 10 hours from the time of picking. This entire chain, from tree to sterilization chamber, is designed as a closed loop, allowing for no interruptions. And that is what creates the standard canned peach: crisp, shape-holding, and so uniform it's almost identical. Perhaps you think the canned peach production line is the same everywhere, right? But the truth is, The difference between good and dominating the global market lies in every small detail. And this is when we will explore those details, from the peach to the finished can, in the place dubbed the world's canned peach center, China. After harvesting, peaches are sent to automatic pre-processing stations, washed with high-pressure water. Some modern facilities use AI cameras and optical sensors to automatically remove misshapen fruits, those with uneven skin color or signs of overripeness, because if they aren't standard, the peach slices will fall apart during sterilization, affecting the shape and uniformity in the can. Unlike some countries that often use mechanical knives or alkaline solutions, sodium hydroxide, for peeling, which can make the peaches mushy and change color, China peels using 105 to 115 degrees Celsius, 221 to 239 degrees Fahrenheit, steam pressure for 30 to 60 seconds. Then they are quickly cooled with 5 to 10 degrees Celsius, 41 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit, water spray to maintain crispness. That is why when you bite into a canned peach slice, it still has a slight firmness. Next, each peach is fed into a pitting system, using center-finding technology to ensure a precise cut, splitting it in half. Depending on packaging needs, the fruit will be cut into halves or uniform slices. These peach halves are then passed through a mechanical vibrator to sort them by size, a seemingly simple step that directly affects every can produced. The sorting process follows 3 core technical criteria for industrial production. Size, which directly impacts how the fruit is sliced. Halves, quarters, slices. Bricks level, randomly measured to ensure the entire batch is within the technical limits for canning. Uniformity, selecting to ensure peach slices within the same can have similar size, color, and shape, a crucial factor in exports. What is noteworthy is this: those curved peach slices are not simply dropped into the can randomly. An automatic conveyor belt will rotate each piece to its ideal curve, then gently place it into the can in order, as if an invisible hand is adjusting every detail. The entire process, from the raw peach to the slice resting in the can, takes less than 5 minutes. Clearly, compared to many factories in the US still relying on semi-automatic manual operations, in China, even the aesthetics of the peach slices are automated. As soon as the peach slices are neatly arranged in the can, hot syrup is poured in. Do you think pouring syrup is all there is to it? No, this is chemistry, thermal engineering, industrial-level acid control. Depending on market requirements, the syrup concentration ranges from 10 to 17 bricks and is always kept between 75 to 85 degrees Celsius, 167 to 185 degrees Fahrenheit, to help stabilize the fruit's texture. The cans will be vacuum sealed at a negative pressure of 0.07 megapascals, then transferred to a high-temperature sterilization chamber. Here, a temperature of 121 degrees Celsius, 250 degrees Fahrenheit, is maintained for about 10 to 15 minutes. The goal is to ensure the pH inside the can is always between 3.6 and 4.2, just acidic enough for food safety, while still preserving the fresh sweetness. After the drying step, each can of peaches is printed with a batch number, and more notably, many factories in Zhejiang and Shandong now include a QR code. Consumers can scan the code to find out where the batch came from, the harvest date, the processing unit, the syrup recipe, and even the name of the operator on the packaging line. This is no longer just canned peaches, it is a data chain. Finally, the containers are sealed and leave the ports of Qingdao, Ningbo, or Tianjin, headed for the US, Japan, Mexico, Russia, or Thailand. But the real difference isn't where the peaches go, but how they get there, on time, to standard, in the correct format, without changing seasonally, unaffected by surplus or weather fluctuations. How many countries can deliver identical cans of peaches, month after month, batch after batch, for decades? China can do this because they don't just produce peaches. They operate a canned peach system like a heavy industry, where everything is controlled, standardized, and exportable. The US has good peach varieties, modern canning techniques, and highly mechanized agriculture. Greece has long-standing experience and quality products. South Africa has an ideal climate and good labor. But all three share a common problem. They produce seasonally, not strategically. They primarily grow peaches for fresh sale. Canning is just a side branch. Factories depend on farmer input. Prices fluctuate with the market. No one treats peaches as an industry designed from the ground up. Meanwhile, China produces based on contracts, operates on a 12-month plan, and exports according to its own standards. Why is this the case? The answer is because China doesn't just have factories. They have their own raw material regions, pre-processing stations, cold storage, inland ports, and high-speed logistics. This means they shorten the entire intermediate chain, minimize fluctuations, and also reduce costs. The cost of producing a can of peaches in China is 20 to 30% lower than in the US or Europe. Not because of lower quality, but because labor is still cheaper. Machinery is highly automated. Production scale is large enough to optimize all unit costs. For example, a large factory in Anhui can process over 200 tons of peaches per day, continuously for 3 months. Meanwhile, many Greek or American factories only operate at a few dozen tons per day, and seasonally. The difference is not in technique, but in the way the entire process is industrialized. Furthermore, in the West, canned peaches are still associated with a retro fruit image, a product of older generations. Companies invest little in innovation and more in maintaining the brand. Meanwhile, China does the opposite. No need for emotional storytelling, no need for a premium image, just need every can to be identical and exportable anywhere. They don't sell nostalgia, they sell perfect replication wherever needed. Finally, this is no longer agriculture. This is the art of standardization. China doesn't compete on taste. They compete on consistency, speed, and global supply capability. A container of peaches from China can reach the US, Japan, Mexico, on time, at the right price, to the right standard, regardless of the season. And that is what makes any competitor sigh when calculating expansion costs. You may not notice, but the world is eating more Chinese peaches than ever before. In Japan, a large portion of the canned peaches used in snacks, bakeries, even hospitals, come from China. In the US, many chains like Costco, Walmart, Whole Foods sell canned peaches originating from Shandong or Anhui, and restaurants in Mexico, Thailand, UAE. They don't choose a brand, they choose price and consistency. Canned peaches are not a trending industry, but that is precisely why this industry is hard to replace. Because it serves the fundamental needs of the supply chain: industrial kitchens, schools, hotels, processed food factories. And China is supplying the majority of the peaches for these systems, quietly but decisively. Not many countries have sufficient raw material regions, technology, logistics chains, and competitive pricing to produce on a large scale. And China not only does it, but does it so well that importers don't want to go back to old sources. People debate American beef, French wine, Italian cheese. But with canned peaches, nobody needs to know the brand, as long as the can isn't dented and the peach slices aren't mushy. And it is precisely this anonymity that is an advantage, because it allows China to export like a basic infrastructure, quietly, without confrontation. yet dominating every supermarket shelf, every raw material supply chain. Canned peaches are not an icon, but they are something the modern food chain cannot do without. And China, by turning this product into a system, is reshaping how the global food industry operates. China didn't invent canned peaches. No need to tell traditional culinary stories. And no need to turn this product into a cultural icon. Instead, they did something few people thought of. Turned a type of fruit nobody paid attention to into a system that can operate precisely like an industrial line, then quietly dominate the global market. If the Chinese supply chain slows down tomorrow, who will fill the gap of over 70% of the global canned peach market share? And if a can of peaches can reveal so much, how many other things do we eat every day without knowing? Please leave your comments below. What do you think about soft power from agriculture? See you in the next exploration journey.